Well, all eyes are on the big Alaska summit, which is slated to take place in Alaska's Anchorage between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin tomorrow. NDTV's Maha Siddiqui is all ready. She's already reached the venue, and we'll have her up for you right in a moment's time. But first, we get you some reactions that are just coming in.
Will Russia face any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
there will be
be?
consequences.
Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences.
Звісно, ми обговорили сьогодні ситуацію на полі бою. Я сказав президенту Сполучених Штатів Америки і всім нашим європейським колегам, Путін блефує. Він старається натиснути перед зустрічю на Алясці, на всіх напрямках українського фронту. Росія намагається зобразити, що спроможна окупувати всю Україну. Безумовно, це їх бажання. Також Путін блефує, начебто санкції для нього не важливі і що вони не працюють. Насправді санкції дуже допомагають і б'ють по російській воєнній економіці.
Мы рассматриваем выпрашиваемые европейцами консультации как политические и практически ничтожное действие. Европейцы на словах поддерживают дипломатические усилия Вашингтона и Москвы по регулированию кризиса вокруг Украины. Фактически же Евросоюз их саботирует.
L'échange avec le président Trump a permis d'éclairer ses intentions pour la réunion du 15 août prochain et nous a permis d'exprimer très clairement nos attentes et je tiens ici à l'en remercier. Et je crois pouvoir dire que plusieurs messages sont ressortis de l'échange que nous venons d'avoir et qui sont à mes yeux très importants. Le premier, c'est que le président Trump a été très clair sur le fait que la volonté américaine était d'obtenir un cessez-le-feu à l'occasion de cette réunion en Alaska. Et c'est très important qu'à l'occasion, en effet, de cette réunion, il puisse y avoir un cessez-le-feu qui soit obtenu par les États-Unis d'Amérique, et nous soutenons cette initiative, en même temps que des nouveaux échanges de prisonniers et des libérations d'enfants.
My colleague Maha Siddiqui now joins us straight from Anchorage. There you are, Maha. I hope you had a safe journey. What's the anticipation around this entire meet? We heard another statement, another blistering statement coming in from Donald Trump, effectively warning Putin to end the war tomorrow. What's the anticipation? What's the build-up? And more importantly, have you been able to decipher where exactly is this meeting taking place in Anchorage?
So let me start with your second part of your question. The meeting is going to take place at the joint base, Elmendorf, Richardson. This is a US military base that has personnel from the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, and Guardsmen as well. About 22,000 personnel and their families there. And that is the secure space in which both the leaders are going to meet. In fact, the residents here in Alaska, in Anchorage, have, a lot of opinion about the fact that the meeting is taking place in a military base, because some of them are concerned that are these optics correct, that a rival, that is the Russian president, is coming here to a US territory, and he's being allowed access or being hosted in a US military base. Now, I am standing outside a Russian Orthodox church. There you can see it behind me. The architecture itself speaks for it. This is one of the few Russian Orthodox church, a reminder of the shared history between Russia and the United States in Alaska. Remember, Alaska was sold by Russia to the United States in 1867 and then became part of the United States in 1959 as a proper state in itself within the United States. So there is a history, there is a background. And if you actually geographically also look at the US and Russia, how they are positioned on the globe in the world, then this Alaska marks a geographical neighborhood for them. Because both the countries are separated only by the Bering Strait. If you look at Alaska and from Alaska towards the west, you will see Russia. So clearly this place, Alaska, has a lot of geographical as well as historical significance for both Russia, of course, for the United States. At the moment, Arjun, There aren't very many people around. The service is on over here. Let me quickly bring in one of the people that I have over here. I'm wondering if you can still hear me, or is my video frozen, Arjun?
If it seems a bit jarry there, but there's a great factoid regarding this Russian Orthodox Church you're standing in front of.
Yes.
Maha, US is one of the only countries that has in fact not sanctioned Patriarch Kirill. Now, he's the head of the Russian Orthodox Church. He's been sanctioned by Ukraine, by European countries. The US is the only country which has not sanctioned him from the West. We have your feed again. You were taking us through and having a discussion with some locals. Please go ahead, Maha.
Yes, there's one person around here. Let me quickly speak to him about his opinion and what he believes this meeting can yield finally. Daniel, many thanks for speaking with us. Hi. The question that I really want to ask you at this stage is about Alaska being the place for the meeting, for a very important meeting, Daniel. What do you have? What is your opinion about it?
Well, for me, I've lived here for 23 years. And I think it's a little overwhelming in many ways, because for one, our military bases here are highly protected and highly secured. And I feel like there might be a security breach. You know, I'm not 100% sure, but I hope there's, you know, having Russia come to our bases here, they're probably going to be looking for information. I'm not 100% sure. But I also feel as if it's probably the best bet, due to the fact that Anchorage is small and very overwhelming. It would be a little bit too much for the city, and also maybe cause chaos for them as well as world leaders. I don't think they would be at danger because they're highly secured, but at the same time, I think it's a little overwhelming for Anchorage and Alaska in a whole. You know,
as a person from Alaska, were you surprised that this was chosen as a venue, or do you think that the kind of shared history Russia and the US have, also the fact that Russian President Vladimir Putin has a ruling from the International Criminal Court, and he's protected on US territory to a large extent, and that's why European countries couldn't be chosen as a venue. Looking at all that, what are your views? I understand that you have concerns with regards to the joint military base being used for the meeting, but as you said, perhaps there was no other venue which would have been so secure for a high-profile, high-stakes meeting.
Well, you know, I think with how close we are to Russia, I think at one point we're like 412 miles from Russia, not here in Anchorage, but in other parts of Alaska. So I think it probably worked best for them to meet here. And, you know, as long as they can get something resolved peacefully would be great. Because that's another concern that I have and other citizens have as well too. You know, what if things get rough and go south, which we definitely hope not, but it's a small community here, and just don't want anything to disrupt our peace.
Got it. Right, Daniel. Thanks for joining us with your views. Very articulate there, and you're expressing sentiments that a lot of people here have. Thank you very much for speaking with NDTV. So there you have it, the concerns expressed by the people here, but they're also hopeful, Arjun, that this can be a place where which can bring an end to the Ukraine war.